Hey guys and girls, quick video in regards to suspension and how to measure the height of your lift most accurately. There's a couple of different ways to do it. Some places talk about or have you measure from the middle to the edge of the guard. Problem with that is it's easy to be kind of sloppy around about the middle, you know, somewhere about there. I just think it's not very accurate to do it that way. The most accurate way is to hook your tape measure in at the bottom of the rim just there and keep it in a nice vertical line and measure to the edge there, right? So on a common 120 Prado GXL, you know, with the plastic, you know, pretty standard stuff there with the plastic flares there. The standard factory vehicle is going to be 750 at the front with, you know, it doesn't matter what size tyres then. So you measure to the ground. It all varies on tyre size, air pressure. No, you don't want that. Centre, you don't know where it is. Tape measure hooked on the bottom of the rim there. That's it. Just make sure you keep it nice and vertical. If you want to get really fussy, you can even put a level on it. But look, we're not going to get that fussy. Couple of millimeters either way there if you've got a bit of an angle. Easy to, you know, get it nice and straight type thing. So 750 is your stock height. 2-inch lift would be about 800. If you've got bigger rims like 18s, you just got to allow for that, you know, 1 inch bigger. Means 25 mil, about half that, 12, 13 mil. So you're going to have an extra 12 or 13 mil at the bottom. So if you had a 2-inch lift, and it was 2-inch, it'd be sold 812, 813. You got it, right? But I'm not saying 2-inch lift's good. I prefer to have about 790, and it all depends whether it's a Grande or not, airbags and all that sort of thing. But we're going to keep it short. It's going to go into our suspension playlist, and if you want more information on suspension, you can find that there. Now, so this one's I think this one's sitting pretty close to about 800 at the moment, a little bit too high since we put those 314s in. But we can drop the spring seat down, but it's going okay. So we haven't adjusted it yet. It's been in there for months, actually. I think it's been in here for nearly 6 months, these things, without adjustment. So there you go. Time just absolutely flies. So we like to take it from 750. If you've got picked up an old Prado 120 and you're watching this video and it's got an alloy bull bar or something like that, and that's about it, it's probably going to be about 730, 735. Between the extra weight and a bit of sagging over time, that's a pretty standard what you're going to be. But believe me, factory height without any bull bars, about 750. So 790 at the front's ideal, bit of a 40 mil lift like on a GXL, just with coil springs. Excuse me. The 150 Prado, it's a very similar measurement from the 17-inch rim from there to straight there. It's a steel guard, but pretty much you're measuring the same area. And it's pretty much the same on the 150s at the back as well. Let's go to the back just quickly. Here we are in the flip-flops or thongs or whatever you want to call it. You might even catch me in a reflection there. Look at that. How you going? Yeah, give you a wave. Oh, there you are. Anyway, that just means I think the paintwork's too clean. Okay, at the rear, the standard height from the bottom of the rim here to is about 780. So a good lift is about 830, right? 830, and usually you're going to find the passenger side's about 10 mil lower than the driver's side. It's just how it is. It's just compensating because it's, you know, once you've got all the gear on it like this, we know it's a bloke's car, and it just allows for the bloke in the other side. So you've got the fuel on the left and the bloke on the right. Perfect, right? But look, if you've got the family, you just got to take into account, you know, you can probably load a little bit extra on the driver's side, have a few extra beers, whatever the case may be. Another good way, so obviously you don't have to worry too much about tyre size. You can allow for that bigger or smaller wheels for that measurement. Most people are going to be running 17s. Another good way to look at it is you get down level with the tyre. See how this is, I haven't measured it, but this is probably 820, 830, somewhere there. But see how the top of the tyre with a standard 265, 65, 17, standard size tyre, that's what we run. You look across the top of it, right? That's a bit too low because the tyre's a bit round. That's a bit too high, but see it's level with the top of the chassis. So on a 120 or a 150, a good nice lift is about level with the top of the chassis. Now, if you're seeing heaps of chassis, you've got a 3-inch lift, it's too high, it's going to, you're going to have a bit of body roll, it's up high, the handling's not as good when you do a evasive manoeuvre. You know, the vehicle's going to roll or get up on 2 wheels sooner. So if you like getting up on 2 wheels around roundabouts and evasive manoeuvres, happy days. But 780 is your stock height, 830 is your 50 mil lift. I like 50 at the back simply because it allows extra space there. And the reason it's going to be 30 to 40 mil higher, and that's from factory, it's a 30 mil rake, right? 750 at the front, 780 at the rear. The reason it's 30 mil different is because when you load it up, let's just take a step back. This is not about loading so much as just mainly a short video on how to measure the wheels, but see what happens. The passengers go in, go between the driver and the passenger. All the weight's between the front and the rear. A little bit toward the front, but front and rear pretty even, because you're sitting around about the middle. You're sitting about there, aren't you, right? Which is right in between the two. So loading the front, you're putting the weight on both. You load the passengers or things in the rear, more weight's going to the rear. You put your stuff in the back, that's going on the rear. And then back here, the back part of the back, not only is it on the rear, but it's kind of, because it's out the back here, it's popping the front up, which is why the vehicle needs to have that rake there to allow for loading. Otherwise, you're going to be driving around popping monos. It's going to be ridiculous if you've got a level vehicle. It's going to be, you'll be going up a hill, all the weight's on the back, and you'll be topping out your front shockers doing damage, and you'll wonder why is my suspension failing so soon? Maybe this is a reason why. So, I came along just to teach you how to measure most accurately to work out what lift you got. Now, it's really important that you're on really level concrete, right? So you just got to be careful where they built these houses and garages and concrete. They're not all that good at it. So when you take a measurement, if you think it's got a lean or it's a bit weird or whatever, make sure you park the car another way in another line on another bit of concrete. Check again, best out of 3 or 4 or 5 or 8 or whatever, till you find some nice level concrete. Because if you're not on, it's very surprising. If you've got a high spot here, 20 mil or even 10 mil, whatever you do here, that's going to lift it here. It's going to take it less at the, say, the right hand front. This is the left hand rear, and so on. You lift. You know what I mean? Like when you park on uneven ground, it doesn't take much to really twist the vehicle up. So anyway, guys, just a short video. That's how to measure suspension. That's your standard factory heights on both a 120 and a 150 Prado. So 750, 780. Ideal lift 790, give or take 10. At the rear, 830, give or take 10. I like height at the rear because it gets these fuel tanks, what you can see there, these mud flaps. And this fuel tank here, it's got the K on guard on it, but it helps get it up out of harm's way. Other things don't get hit. You've got your K on bash plate at the front. By going higher isn't going to save you from scraping. That's what the bash plate's there for. But a bing, it just doesn't matter about the scraping. Another 10 mil, 20 mil, 15 mil, bigger tyre size ain't going to make any difference. Now let's compare to the Hilux. Here we've got the Hilux, and it's a very similar sort of thing. Okay. Again, we're running Prado 17-inch wheels, 265, 65, 17 standard size. And this has got a slight lift on it. I would have guessed 30 to 40 mil if I didn't know better. And I don't know Hilux lifts that well. Haven't owned Hiluxes for a long time till we've had this one more recently. And just looking at it, I'd go, yeah, it's not standard height, but it's probably 30, 40 mil. Anyway, I took a measurement from the bottom of the rim to the guard. It's 780, so very comparable to the Prado. I don't know what the standard height is. I can't remember. So if anybody's measured a 2013 or anything like that, a 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, Hilux diesel, KUN 26R from factory with that. Hey, what's your standard measurement with 17-inch rims, remember? Because if you've got a 2008, you would have had 15-inch rims. So anyone that's got a 7-inch rim model, so 2011 onwards, there you go, 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever, and you measured from the bottom of the rim to the guard, what was it from factory? I'm guessing it's probably going to be about the 750 again, but I can't remember. It's been about 10 years since I was really getting into Hilux suspension stuff. This one, we're going to put the 302s in on the Dobinson's monotubes, and we'll take a new measurement and let you know what we end up with. But hopefully, I'll be aiming, I don't want much more, to be quite honest. I don't want a vehicle that's really high. I'll be hoping it goes to about 790, an extra 10 mil from where it is. I'll be very happy. Now, so that's your measurement there. Take a look at the rear. Things get a little bit more complicated because, look, we've got an alloy tray. So I did actually take a measurement from the bottom of the wheel to the bottom of the bar. And I think this side was 800 and the other side was about 810. So the other side's higher, but I thought lots of people have got steel trays, alloy trays, different things. So we need a consistent thing for everybody that's watching and learning and sharing information here to learn. And the only reason I got the Cooper AT3s on there is because that's what was on there. And see, they're like new, mate. So I've got 2 like new and 2 that are worn out. So conundrum is, hey, who's got 2 that you can sell me that are like new that you want to get rid of, or who wants to buy these 2 for a little bit cheaper than, new price? Come on, hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you want to buy 2, and I'll just put BFGs on, or whatever the case may be. Or I noticed someone's got a Prado facility. He's got a brand new, really good condition one of these on a spare. How about we do a swap for one of my more worn out ones that's on the front there? Anyway, back to the topic. the point I was trying to make is if you get down and have a look over the top of the tyre, see there's that hole in the chassis? So trying to do what we do with the Prados, where we go top of the chassis now. This one, it's not too high, okay? It's not really high, it's not low, because a lot of them are really sagged. You can see it's got the EFS heavy duty springs in there, so it's fairly high, but it's not really super high. It could go a little bit higher, but we're going to get this suspension in 2-inch lift, get the 302s in, and then we might do some tweaking of that, because we can adjust both the front and the rear, right? Because the rear springs, they've got some spaces there we've explained in another video on one of our channels, so subscribe, turn the bell on so you don't miss it. How to adjust leaf springs to adjust the height up and down. And of course with the monotubes you can adjust the front. So we will tweak it in the end to get the height that we want out of the vehicle. But as you can see, as I come down to level, so that's about, so if I, like I said, the tyre's round, so if I go down too far, it's about there, right? It's kind of about there. So look, I've got to do it with the eye, not the camera, all right? Because the camera's sort of, it's not helping me. But if I get the tyre level, it's about, you can see about that much of the hole, which, you know, it's not focusing on too well over there. But look, I'll tell you, you can see it's almost half the hole, about half the hole's blocked. So if you can see that complete hole in your chassis, you've certainly got a good lift. If your tyre's down and it's level with the top of the chassis, I'd suggest you're probably pretty low, or standard height or a bit lower, whatever. So anyway, bada bing, it was mainly about measuring, and the key for an accurate measurement is right in the middle at the bottom of the wheel. Hold it like that, plumb, and you'll get your correct measurement. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope you understand why. By trying to measure the middle of the wheel, it's a bit of a, there's no actual point, you know, it's like, you know, I can hold it about the middle, but it could be 5 or 10 mil out kind of thing. Anyway, I hope you liked it. Hit the like button, subscribe bell on. Talk to you later. See ya.